Hi, Andrew. And David. Hello.
Hello.
Good. Mr. President, how are you doing, sir?
How you doing, Mr. Foley?
Good to see you.
I'm sure we're going to have a whack up 30 people on this call tonight. Or something like that. How you doing, Robin?
Doing well. Had a busy day. Went out to a early morning breakfast meeting this morning.
Oh, good.
And there was no meeting.
No meeting, wow.
They were doing some function with another club, and I wasn't aware of it. So, but
Okay.
David, long time no see.
there.
There's David in his office with his shutter closet.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Background. No,
Oh, look at that, David Kroner. You're looking younger and more spry than ever. Look at that.
you got the
Look at
hair.
You're
that face.
kind. You're so kind.
Wow, wow, wow.
Looking good there, David.
And you, Andrew, as always.
David, you don't look a day past 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liar.
Liar.
Okay. I'm not sure if Ray will be with us. He was going to New York over the weekend for a couple of days business. He may not be back, or he may be able to get in from a hotel. I don't know.
Well, I don't think Jim Trummel won't be on, I don't think. I saw the thing from Suzanne because she had some other club and she said it's rodeo, it's Rotary National Polio Day.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So she said,
yeah.
so she won't be on.
Yeah, Jim Tremolo is going to Brooksville because he had something on there tonight,
Right.
their club. So,
Well, we can always fill in David what's happening because he hasn't been on for a time or two, so we can always get his his thoughts.
Peter said he'd be here, but he's been very busy apparently at work.
Right.
We gotta wait and see. I talked to Ashley, but she is working. If she can make it, she will. But it didn't sound too encouraging.
Right.
So it might be just us three girls.
Okay. What about Ali? Nothing from Ali, huh?
Well, Ali could show up. I haven't been in touch with him. Yeah.
And Trish?
Who?
Trish.
Depends on what she's got on. She does evening lectures sometimes.
Okay.
It's tough to, it's tough to get the group on.
Do you think it might be better to do a board meeting during lunch hour someday? I don't know.
I'm willing to try.
Okay.
Pick a date, and we can see if it'll work.
Well, we can alternate them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay. Well, I think it's at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's call the meeting to order. As we say with Rotary and RLI, we start on time and we finish on time.
Cool.
Okay, so we have a motion to start our Rotary board meeting at 7:01. Unfortunately, we do not have a quorum, but we will just go through our agenda as planned, and maybe some people will chime in. So, past President Robin Foley, you want to give the update? I know you gave it last week during the meeting, but I know David Kroner wasn't here, so maybe you want to tell David what's happening and get his input.
Okay, well, the most of my stuff is Dominica, and the fundraising so far is we're at about 6,500. I got another couple of hundred during the week, and I was at a lunch meeting today at our main club, 150 members, and they hadn't sent out an email that I sent to local presidents asking them to circulate the video, but they have done so this afternoon, 2 videos, and they're going to give me time to address the meeting, 3 minutes next week.
That's great. That's awesome.
So that's encouraging, and I'm going to go to another club tomorrow morning. That must be Peter Backer coming in. I'm going to another breakfast club tomorrow morning to see if I can get something there. Hi, Peter.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
And I'm planning to go to a couple of other clubs here during the week. Now that I've sent out the video, ask them to show up, and if they haven't, I've printed up a whole little bunch of slips of paper with the links to the videos on. And one of the videos is the story of an 8-year-old girl that was on Channel 4 News. I've posted it on the website, and it tugs the heart. And you know, if that won't shake something loose from people's wallets, nothing will. So
What happened with did her house, did her house go away, or did she lose her family?
Pardon?
What happened to the little girl?
What happens?
To the little girl.
Oh, our student is okay. Her home was flooded out. She's back at school, and they're in makeshift classrooms on the lower floor of the school. The whole upstairs roof was torn off and that. She's fine. No electricity yet down there, and probably be a while longer, and probably no water. It's only in certain areas that they got water. I had an update from Hans in Dominica, still communicating via WhatsApp only. They're looking at fish pots because the fishermen lost everything as a way to getting the fishermen back into production so that they could catch some fish and sell them and make some money and spread it to the economy. It's like a micro economy. I was also met some lady today, and she said they might have a lot of nets over in Destin. She's going to inquire. Of course, if we could get a lot of nets for them, we'd have to ship them down. But some of our funds could be used for that if that kind of materializes.
Right.
What they're looking at is covering or re-roofing some houses of what they call vulnerable people. Elderly living alone who lost their roof, or family with disabled kids or something like that, to put a roof on. I talked to them about that, Hans, and cautioned them before going too far down the road, because now we're repairing personal property. And that could be a thing that Rotary may have an issue with, because Susan pointed this up, and that's fine. I talked to a lady in our district, 6940, who helped us with the global grant for the emergency room in Dominica. And she said if we can cobble something together fairly quickly, she has some district funds that she may be able to match our funds with. So I then contacted our district, 6950, and talked to the foundation chair, and he said global grant take 3 months to do, and so I just left him at that, because we got no help from the district the last time we tried to do a district grant with for the emergency room. We got Cordova up here to take the lead on it, be the international partner. And I talked to the guys in Cordova this morning and said, hey, would you guys be up to help us again in Dominica? You don't have to put any money up, because their members have already contributed $1,000 to the fund, and they have no problem with doing that if it comes out. This is all kind of up in the air still at this stage. The problem is to quantify some kind of project down there. Today I was tuned into a Shelter Box live presentation, Brit guy, and he said they had a team on the ground in Dominica. So I watched that to Hans and said, "Are you aware?" And he said, "No." He had no idea they were there. He said that the other club in Dominica is not sharing information with them. They're the second club. And he said he's unable to contact his district governor because the telecommunications are still screwed up down there. So I put a message into the website while the guy was talking. He said, if you have questions, type them in, which I did. And I said, you know, where are you guys down there, blah, blah, blah. And I got a message back, send an email to this address. So I sent an email, and they said I got a reply in 3 days. So I called Shelterbox in London, and I was bouncing around for a while, getting the elevator music, and eventually they said somebody would get back to me, but it would take a day or two. So then I got cut off, and I called back again, and every time I was calling, the number was busy, busy, busy. I was getting music on it. So I pressed the donate button, and I was answered like that. And I got hold of someone, and she said I'd have an answer in 24 hours. So they're having a lot of frustration down there, and obviously Hans has to deal with his own damage, which is ferocious, and some of the others are as bad or even worse than he is. So it's difficult to expect them to be click, click, click and getting the project out. It's just, you know, it's going to be slow.
Right.
So that's Dominica. And I'm still fundraising up here. I'm taking the thing around to the other clubs. I went to another lunch meeting yesterday, and there was no meeting there, but I met a guy at the door. I gave him my slip of paper with the links on it. He called me a half an hour later to say he was going to send me a check. I haven't seen the size of it yet, but I'm still pushing, trying to get funds for these people. There was a posting, right? There was a posting which I put in Facebook, a pilot taking stuff down there from up here. And he said that some kid that was in the picture with him was hungry because all the big aid agencies now have kind of pulled out. It's over 4 weeks. And the aid that's getting in is kind of meager, and it's not getting out to where it should get out to. So things are going to get worse down there before they get better, that's for sure. So that's my update on Dominica. We need all our members to take the videos that I've sent out the links to, or refer people to our Facebook page. I keep updating it every day with new videos that I'm getting from people down in Dominica. I'm seeing them online. There was an interview on CNN with the Prime Minister of Dominica, and I put that in there. So that's all available to see. But we just need to talk it up as individuals in our own areas.
Right. Well, I'm still waiting for that meeting. They got back to me and they said they're going to give me a meeting at the Wellington Club, the lunch meeting. So they're just going to come up with a meeting probably in early November. So I'll be able to go to the lunch meeting, and you know, they usually have about 40 people come, so that should be good. So that should be nice. I don't know. I know David wasn't on he was away, so I don't know if David, you know, would like to try to go to the Bal Harbor Club or Hollywood Club or any of the clubs that he feels that might be interested. If he in 6990, if he feels it's something that he might like to work on. So I'll have to throw that to you, David, since you've seen what's been going on. Is that something you feel like you might want to do on behalf of the club and on behalf of Robin's efforts?
Did the district ever jump up and say that we could run the money through their 501c3, or is it still a not happening thing?
No.
Yeah, and Robin's been in touch with D.T. Bean. We've been in touch with Karen. You know, he's been talking to all of them and know everything. been talking about it up and down, but he's right. Not much has happened. We're even waiting to see when the governor is going to come on and do our meeting. They were supposed to let us know last week, and I haven't heard anything.
David,
So-
I don't think that's going to happen. And alternatively, what we hit upon may not be a good alternative, but we're running some of the donations through the Cordova 501c3 Foundation, and they will keep it separate. And so if people want a tax deduction, we can do it that way.
Okay.
I would suggest that if we're going to continue this kind of fundraising, we need to get down to business and maybe get our own 501c3. I really think
Peter, we've talked about that many times before,
we have.
and I know how to put together a 501c3. I know how to dissolve one as well, because I dissolved my last Rotary Club. But there's some negatives to it as well. I mean, I think I told Robin that for this fundraiser, we would need to raise, we should be looking at $15,000-$20,000 to justify a 501c3. There's a lot of work involved in it, a lot of reporting, annual fees, not necessarily a simple thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we can always see how we wind up with this. I mean, we're certainly going in a really good direction. As Robin said, we're getting towards 7,000, so that's wonderful. I'm sure there are other causes and other things we can do for Rotary and whatever. But this is a good start, and we have to do it while it's fresh and still in people's minds until the next gigantic disaster, and they forget about Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and Dominica. So it's still on people's minds now, and I think it's we still have to go out there and shuffle and get these donations while we can.
Yeah, and I don't know what the coverage is and where you are in South Florida, but on the East Coast here in Central Florida, I can tell you it's all Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That's the whole focus.
Yeah, and I know, in fact, in South Florida here, they're still doing fundraisers for Puerto Rico, but it's like a lot of people have forgotten about Dominica already, and I know we haven't. And I think mile per mile, they have probably more devastation than anybody except Barbuda. So I think we have to keep that going. It's a lot smaller island, and as Robin very well stated, that they don't have the American government behind them like Puerto Rico or the Netherlands or anything else. They're kind of on their own.
Yeah. I just came back I just got in from the airport. I was in New York, and I had coffee this morning with a friend of mine, at my former Rotary Club, still a very active member. And I told him Robin's story, and he was really, really moved by it. So we can get the story out. It's very effective.
It is, and also just to get the people to give. So, as we've been talking the last couple of weeks since Robin came back, and I know Robin's been great at it, and he's gone to several clubs and he's been on air and everything. We just need to get to as many clubs as we can who will invite us in to tell this story. And I think Peter, when we talk to Peter again in a minute, we need to get on the Rotary blog and those different Rotarian outlets like the Rotary Rotarian and so forth, and see if we can send them the story, and if maybe they'll publish it, because I think that would be great for Robin's story, which he's told so well. So I know we're doing well. I think we certainly can do even more, because again, these people are counting on us, including the little girl and that 70-year-old lady that Robin met who had nowhere to go, and Hans and everybody else. So this is sort of like a kind of a one-shot deal, because as you say, as time goes by, people are going to forget. So, David, did you have some thoughts? I know you weren't with us last week and you've been away, but anything comes to your mind, or marketing this, or getting it out maybe 6990? By the way, I sent this to past governors Debbie and her husband, and to Drew, who's I think governor-elect, and I haven't heard back from anybody in my district, my former district, and was a little bit mystified because I did a lot of work on the district level there, but nobody even got back to me. I thought it was kind of a little mystified, but I don't know, maybe David knows something or whatever.
Well, to answer the first part of the question, in the pitch for the money for the Dominica, is there a call to action saying write a check out to the Cordova Rotary Club for a 501c3 with an address in there?
That's at the end of the video. There are
Okay.
instructions.
That was question number one. Question number, Andrew, answer your
Yeah.
request. I can't speak about our past district governors. I know that a former district governor, a couple of district governors ago, told me he was getting hundreds of emails from Rotary every single day. So the fact that you sent an email to a past district governor out of the hundreds they get every single day, it may, if it's something that you wish to follow up, it may require a phone call from you to them.
Okay, that's a good point. I got their number, I'll call them. Good point. But David, what about you? Do you have any time? Is this something, I know you're pretty busy, but could it warrant going to Bell Harbor or any of your former clubs or anything to maybe talk about? Do you think, are they giving over there anything that they might be touched about or get behind?
Well, you know Bal Harbour, as I know Bal Harbour, it's just a handful of people, and they do a very small fundraiser, and they have the money designated for what they're going to use it for. It's not a massive club like you had up in, well, massive 40. It's not like the club you had up in Wellington.
Right. Or Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood, anything? I mean, are they, well, I know you had whatever with Fort Lauderdale, but I just don't know if any, if they might be touched or moved, that they might open up their wallets and give to something like this.
Hollywood has a fundraiser every year, and they designate it for several community organizations, and Fort Lauderdale has their way of doing things.
Right. And too, Robin, I forgot to mention, remember, some of the big clubs who raised a lot of money happened to be the, Key West clubs, and obviously they were devastated. So I would think probably in 6990, they're probably helping out a lot of the Key West clubs and in that area because they got hit really hard too. So
that's what we're up against, really. The competition, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to do it is to try to, wherever we get the opportunity, to talk it up and to show these two videos. The second one, not my one, but my one is fun. But the second one is a little girl standing, and she's just standing on the floor, and there's clothes and crap all over the floor, and there are no walls to the house. And she says, this was her home, there were trees, it was beautiful, and now it's like a ghost town. Like, it's a real hard... Yeah. If you haven't looked at it, go on the website and see it.
Yeah, Robin, I'm not a media or marketing expert, but I saw that video. I have to say your PowerPoint was as good as any of the videos I've seen. I thought it was excellent. The PowerPoint you did with with Cordova Club.
Yeah.
That was because it made it personal.
Yeah, well, there's that too. I'd say both work well to kind of tug the heartstrings, especially the kids. Yeah.
Robin, why don't we turn it over to Peter? I'm glad, by the way, Peter, thanks for being on the call. I'm glad we got you tonight and take the time. But Peter's a great writer, Peter is great with visuals and the internet and everything. And I know he's really behind it because he was very much touched. Peter, you have any new thoughts on ideas about, we talked about CNN and everything, how we can proceed with this and get it going, perhaps in a bigger way while it's still in everybody's mind?
Let's see what else I have. I do sell soaps. I only sell essential oils.
Is Peter still on?
No,
We lost him already?
no, he's there. We see his library, but he's gone.
Okay, maybe he had to do something. Maybe he had a rotary moment. Ray, I don't know, is that what we call it or something? A rotary moment. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Okay, well,
Sorry, David, what was on your mind?
Rather than inflict extra work of this type on Peter, how about, let's see, for starters, was that information placed on the club's Facebook?
It's on Facebook, and I boosted the post because they offered me a $30 credit, and I boosted the post twice. And it's getting to people, but we're not getting money.
Okay, well, everybody, if you like it, then that distributes it a little further.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it enough I gave money too.
I mean, if you, on your Facebook, you indicate like.
Yes.
Yeah.
LIKE. Big thumbs up.
Now, I was talking with Peter earlier on about the ghostwriting, the story for me, because I'm writing second essays, never my forte. So Peter was going to take this on, and we had a discussion the other day about it. I need to give him some more background, and I undertook to do it on Sunday, but I didn't get to it because I've got a couple of other things bubbling up here, but I will get back to him with some of that background, maybe tomorrow.
Just to let everybody know what that conversation was.
Hi, Peter. We thought you had a rotary moment.
Yeah, well, I had a call of nature.
That's the same thing, I think.
So anyway, what I was going to say, what I said to Robin was, if Rotary is going to print this in the Rotarian, they're going to want more than the immediate story. They're going to want to know the backstory, which is really the Rotary story. How we originally got involved in Dominica, the work we did for the emergency room down there, our continuing commitment to that island. And I think that combined with his experience will get it published. And I know we've got some good photographs we can put in there as well. So
That'd be
I'm thinking if we make it a Rotary story and not just a survival story, I think our chances of getting a lot better.
Peter, I agree, and I've told Robin, I've read some of the stories in the Rotarian recently, and what they seem to like is, there's the personal story, but there's also what is the club doing, or what is the individual Rotarian doing. And so if we implement, if we're able to, give some money to build fish pots, for example, to stimulate the economy, that's the kind of service that I think they like in these stories.
Well, plus the fact that we were very hands-on, especially through Robin. So
yeah.
Okay.
But I agree.
So Peter, you're gonna try to work on that with Robin when you have an opportunity, or?
Yep, I will.
Okay, great.
And I may take a moment and call Evanston and talk with the editorial office and get a little bit more background as to what the requirements are, what the average length they're looking for. If you give them what they need and what they're looking for, they will plug it in when they have a hole.
Yeah,
That's
Peter, they have that on their website.
Okay.
I've actually downloaded it, or I think I did, but they have a list of do's and don'ts and what they would like.
I saw that list, but what I'm looking for more is what length they're looking for. I know the level and the quality of the photos they need, and the more photos, the better from what they said. So I just wanted to get some general information and also get a look at their editorial calendar. We don't know how, this could be, if we write it as an evergreen, it'll get published later on. If it's just immediate now, aftermath of the hurricane, by the time they get to putting it in there, it may be too late.
Yeah, the average for their stories is about 9 months. They tell you that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're about 9 months in advance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this really, that's why I say we need the background Rotary story, and we need to make this, as I said, it's an evergreen. So it's not timely in the sense that it's going to expire.
Right.
What about the blog, Peter? I know that blog is something that can be a lot quicker, right?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the blog. I couldn't tell you that.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for.
You're a Rotary podcaster out there. Are there any Rotary podcasts? We used to have one down on the islands. There was a podcaster down on the islands that was doing a Rotary podcast. As a matter of fact, they funded him. He got a grant to do a podcast.
I don't know anything about that. But I'll tell you this much. I was reading something in PR today about blogs. I don't know what a bloody blog is, but I went in and I've got a primer on how to start a blog. But, it'll take me forever to get through the thing. But anyway.
It's easy enough. We can set up a blog in 2 minutes. That's not a problem, Robin. The thing is, who's going to contribute to it and keep writing for it? It's something you got to keep fresh all the time. A blog is like fish. If you leave it more than a day, it starts to stink. Nobody wants to go there.
Well, we have a lot of material that I'm posting on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
We've got 3 or 4 things each day, or more actually. I'm being selective in what I'm putting in there. But
Yeah.
there's stuff coming out of Dominica from all these guys with their phones that have electricity. There's new stuff coming out.
Right.
And you have the updates from the Prime Minister and the various ministers on a daily. All that stuff keeps churning out. So
I think our website has the ability to plug in a blog. Am I right?
our website.
A blog is a website. I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
And if we can get a direct link to that and put it there, I'll take a look.
Okay,
That would be good.
that would be good. Yeah,
Okay.
because Hans has done something on Facebook for his staff. Like he's had to leave his staff go because he has no work for them and he has no money coming in. So he's had to leave 3 or 4 people go, and he's put up a thing on Facebook, the Champs Hotel, please contribute to our staff. And I'm seeing that thing almost every other day coming up, and I wonder, how is it that I'm seeing that? Because I know he's not paying to have it flashed up that I'm seeing it.
Well, you probably expressed an interest or did a search around it, and therefore it knows you have an interest, and that's why you're getting it.
Yeah.
I mean, they track everything that we do, everything that we buy, everything that we say, everything is tracked.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's the state of the nation in Dominica. It's up to us all to go to a club and put it out there.
Right. And I happen to like the fish pods idea. I think that's really good. And I think that's something that could really help them. So I think it's something that we should keep on looking at and working on, because I agree that's something that's very fresh, and that's really, what we call sustainability for the people of the island. So I think that would be awesome.
They're having a board meeting this evening. I know that from the WhatsApp conversations. I'm part of the group, so I'm seeing what's going on down there. And they're hoping to move things along. But as I said earlier, each of the people down there is dealing with a loss of at least 50%, if not more, of their assets and their houses and all that stuff. So they're trying to deal with that as well as deal with this is difficult. One thing I did notice was that the cost of the fish pots would be about $150 a pot. That's at the high end. So
Are these fish traps, or what are they? What kind of a trap is it?
I don't know. Ray might have more information on the fish pot. I think he did some research on it.
I didn't do any research. I was embarrassed to admit that I didn't know what it was. And so I went over to our clubhouse and asked people, what is a fish pot? And they told me, well, you go to Target and you buy a bowl and you cook fish in it, you know. But there was one fisherman who knew what a fish pot was, and basically it's a trap. It's like like a lobster trap. The fish, he said, you put bait in it.
Yeah.
Fish come in, and then they can't get out.
They're made with some wire or netting around
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And they need a kind of a rope going up to the surface to a little buoy so they can locate them. Okay.
That sounds good. Okay, so we will continue on with this. Robin, one last thing.
Yeah.
Have you
Look at that. Look at the technical guru. He's got a fish pot.
Wow.
Right there.
That
$30.
is good for
Oh,
you.
thank you. Very good, Peter. Robin, have you earmarked the monies coming in, or is it going to go to one fund, or is it going to the school? Is it going to have you earmarked how this is going to be distributed?
No, there's no idea yet until they come up with a project
Okay.
that they can agree on and reasonably quantify. Then that's it. Now, fish pots is one. They already had a project that they were looking at for the school water tanks because the Hurricane Erica, they lost water and they shut the school down for six or 8 weeks because they had no water. So the club down there was trying to build up a fund to buy water tanks that the school would have a supply. That's still there, but now, of course, the roof is off the school and there's a whole lot of damage to furniture and maybe school books. I don't know. They still haven't, they've got to quantify it for us.
Okay.
I'd like to be down there to be able to help them, but
No, you're not going back. Sorry. You're not going back again. Sorry.
I'm out down there to feed.
No, you're not going back. Sorry. See ya. I've already talked to your wife, May, and she said no.
She'd be happy to see me go.
You'll be happy you're going? Well, I don't think your daughter and the grandkids will be happy. They love their grandpa. Okay. You know, Robin, that's a great way to get out of being an officer in this club, is just to go there and put your life in your hands. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Moving on after that note. Okay. I think we have an agenda. Unless anybody has any thoughts or comments or anything else on the relief efforts. Okay. So let's move on. I think I saw Allie. Allie, welcome. Let's do some of our chair reports. So I know we have a couple of our chairs on here. So if you just want to go and I know Robin, you kind of always know what's going on with everybody. So maybe fill in for Trish isn't on. I know she has a member 2 coming on. So do you want to start and tell us a couple of the committees and what they're doing?
So there's a lot to talk about.
Really, I'm not. Trish is working on 1 or 2 members.
Yep.
That's it. The big thing with Trish currently is that Ashley has agreed to take over doing the programs for us, as we know. And her first program is actually in. You can't see it yet in there for next week's meeting, and it's quite good. So she's done a great job. And she already has posted some stuff in the meeting, which is good. We also got some input from Jim Trammell for that extra thread we started for our own members' experiences of the hurricane. And Jim sent me a picture of his driveway, which I was able to post. So like the meeting is looking better. but we're still not getting people in and commenting.
Right.
They're looking, but they're not commenting.
And we talked about, I know, in the club meeting last week, and what we could do to do better at that. And maybe we can start thinking about that, what we can do to get people to do more commenting.
I think we have to lead by example. Each of us needs to go in there and post something in each of the damn threads. That's
Yeah.
the size of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Okay, Ally, I know you have a couple of things you spoke about before. You want to give us any updates on anything you're working on? And
No, no, I don't have any changes from last Wednesday. I concur with what Robin said. I'm on the Facebook page now of the E-Club of Southeast and the Caribbean. If you like it, click on that and then post it to your own page. That's one way of getting that information out. Other than that, I have no updates.
okay, well, thank you for all you do, Ally. Thanks. Continuing on.
So,
Ray, huh?
on the Facebook page, I've made Ashley an administrator on it because she had stuff
Okay.
and it wasn't showing up, and I couldn't figure out why. Yep. Okay.
That's good. And Peter, if you have, anything you want to do on Facebook or anything else, I mean, you're a guru at a lot of this, so please don't, you're welcome too. So the more the merrier. And it only will get better graphics, better content and everything. And that's so important today with social media. So, and again, with Ashley's help, certainly getting those millennials, because we're always talking about getting those younger members. I mean, all clubs are looking at that. So anything we can do to look a little younger, or be young and get it out there, I think could really help us too, and to keep the young old people like me and Robin. I'll talk about me. Robin is so young, forget it. So. And Ray's a teenager, so forget about that. So that would be good. And speaking about teenagers, Ray, you want to give us, Ray always has a great financial report.
Well, I've been away, as I said, I was in New York. And so it really hasn't changed from last week. The last I looked, we have approximately $3,000 in the charity account, about $8,000 in the operating account. And we've had some, at least one or more recent donations to Dominica. But the last time I looked at, we had about 1,500 donation for $1,500 donations in our bank account. Now that doesn't count for the Cordova club.
Yeah,
but those are donations that have been made through our, basically through our website, or direct donations, checks that have been deposited.
Okay. And that's NAFU they did with me, Ray, with, and I'm glad you figured that out.
But we saved you, Andy.
Yeah, thank God. I would have to. Yeah. I would have kept on giving and giving and giving and giving.
Yep.
But I'm glad you figured that out. Thank you for getting that. So I mean, our finances are good. I think compared to a lot of clubs out there, we're very nice to be in the black, and all that, and always looking for great things to do with to do with the money, obviously, like Dominica and other things. So I think that's very good. I mean, it would be nice, as I said, to have more members, Rotarians, on these meetings and calls to hear from them what they would like to do and how they see us moving forward. I mean, I keep on saying, and Robin pulled all his hair out, that's why he has none left, but, the 80-20 rule, it's all of us doing the work, for everybody. So, and that's sad. And I'm always trying to think of new ways, like you said, the Facebook and reconstituting the website, and younger Rotarians coming in with different programs, which hopefully will attract new people. I mean, I keep on giving our little cards to people I see who might be a Rotarian, inviting them on a call. So I'm following up with a couple of people as new members, and I think they would be very good. One or two are college administrators, so I think would certainly be good Rotarians. But and I know this is a problem not just for us, but a problem for all of Rotary. By the way, I was on a marketing leads call last night that RI did, and in essence, they said if you could get, if every member can reach out for another member in Rotary, what would 1.2? That would be at least about 2.5 million members. It would double what we have, and that's the problem. Some people are great bringing in members and doing cold calling and doing everything like that, but other people just are the followers.
Andy, I think the biggest problem is that our turnover rate is close to 100%.
Yeah.
So basically, we don't have the same 1.2 million members.
Right.
All the time.
You're right.
Funny.
And
at today's meeting, it was a busy meeting. I posted it on our website and on the Facebook page. They had one new member coming in. They have given out 4 Paul Harris awards. But in his comments, the president said that we've had one member resign for financial reasons. I've never heard that before. For somebody to say that in a meeting of the movers and shakers of Pensacola. I was kind of surprised at it, because everybody probably knows who the guy is that resigned.
Yeah.
I was trying to find out his name and say, hey, you can come and join our club for $400 a year.
Yeah.
Still stay in Rotary and to hell with them.
And it's all, as Peter's saying, it's all retention and persistence. I mean, in the college level, with students, it's the same thing. Calling them, emailing them, writing, helping them. What can we do for them to stay? What do they need? What do they want? Did we get the story across? All of that. And it's just a tough thing to do, not only in college, but Rotary or any other organization. So it's something that, just nobody can quite put their hand on. So, can we do some new things? I hope so. So we just have to kind of figure out what they are and maybe how to do it better. So, but I think it's, we're talking about it. It's a, good start. And as I said, I think, as I mentioned last couple, the last month or even more, what Robin has put together here, not because of his harrowing experience and whatever, but I mean, this is something that has, sort of fallen upon us. I mean, it's everything Rotary is. I mean, what Robin's done, the work that we do as Rotarians. And I mean, if this isn't an effort that everybody can't get behind and, do something for, whether it's monetary or coming in as a new Rotarian or staying on or anything like that, I just don't know, what people are doing in Rotary, because this is the essence of what we are. I mean, this is just what Paul Harris, I think, even more than what he would have dreamt about 110 years ago. So, I'm a little...
If I could interject, I'm sorry that Robin went through what he did, but I think it gave the club a terrific opportunity.
Sounds great.
We have lacked a focus.
Exactly.
And I think that's the great, that opportunity shouldn't pass.
Exactly. Ray, you said it in a great sentence. What I took a whole paragraph. Thank you. So, we just have to stay on this. I think it's very important, and I think everybody, this group is really trying. What do we do to get the 25 other members that we have, to step up.
Oh, you got it.
I think Ali has his hand up.
Okay.
Ale?
Yes. Do a lot of you know George Bennett, the PDG for District 6890?
Yep.
Well, he's promoting our club, whether he knows it or not. When he goes out and does a presentation, our club, the picture that we took when we were in Tampa at our meeting, he uses that as an example in his presentation. And
That's
I don't
great.
know how many presentations he makes in Georgia and in Florida. He says he uses it all the time. So we're getting exposure.
That's good. I didn't know that. Thanks, Sally, for sharing that with us. That's quite good.
Yeah, I remember the picture. Peter, you're in that picture too.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right, I am. Yeah.
And Ali and Will Miller, that district.
I was just coming into the club then, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I'll be forwarding to Robin another picture. We had a conversation with the representative Charlie Chris this past Friday. So some of the members from the E-Club are in that. Mr. West and Mike Calamari. They were there with me at the St. Pete Rotary Club. Charlie Chris came and spoke.
Cool. Good.
That's great. Good deal. Okay. I think that's all for the committee reports. I think everybody's kind of, and we did hear what Trish and Ashley are doing, so that's good. So I just think we just have to carry on all that. Peter, I know you kind of represent the IT and the virtual world. Anything that can you want to take a minute and just say what you're working on or looking at or whatever? Because I know we put you on the agenda last week. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it for our general meeting, but I know we talked to you, Robin and I and Ray. We talked about some great things this year, and I know you're a busy guy, but maybe we could come up with a couple things to get everybody all excited.
Well, what I'm working on right now is to find the time to do that.
Okay.
I work till 8 o'clock. I worked all weekend. I worked all last week until late at night. So I haven't had time to breathe, and I'm taking time away from my wife this evening to be on this meeting.
Well, thank you.
That's all right. But
and you also had a Rotary moment too, so we'll count that too.
Yeah. I really don't have anything to add at the moment. I think that doing the blog, however we work that out, we got current information. And the other thing I think we need to explore is we need to come up with some kind of a hands-on project for younger Rotarians or would-be Rotarians that would want to roll up their sleeves and get involved. My experience with the clubs here has been that the young people like to do something, a hands-on project. And whether it's a fundraiser, whatever it happens to be, they like to be out there doing something. I know we had a family that had been struck by cancer, and they hadn't been able to take care of their yard. She was widowed, and she had cancer, having trouble keeping up with the kids. And so we went in as a Rotary Club, and our younger members came in, and they fixed wall receptacles. They did yard work. We were really a blessing for that woman. So I think projects of that nature, local community projects, sometimes can be very impactful.
That's great. Good. Well, when you have some time, and I know you, and also I know you're going to work with Robin on
With that, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But
I don't mind putting that story out, broadcasting it out. I don't think we have to do it strictly for the Rotarian. If the Rotarian picks it up,
right,
that's great. If they don't pick it up, I'm just trying to get us some exposure. I mean, I don't want to sit here and wait for 9 months and hope the Rotarian picks it up. If we write a good enough story, we'll get it out there and get some coverage.
That'd be great. And I think that's probably time-wise the first thing, maybe to work on because that's the most time sensitive.
Yeah. And I've already committed to Robin to do that, so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Peter.
Okay.
Okay, agenda-wise, I think we covered a lot of stuff. I know we covered a lot of things from the meeting. I keep on telling Robin we're going to sit down and work on the calendar, so we'll have that going. I'm meeting with, I sent Karen an email to sit down with her about some of the things, everything from pets to foundation, all the things that we need for the DG and for the district. So I'll get that worked out with her, and moving forward for everything that we next year, including the Rotary citation. And a lot of those things we have ticked off that we've been doing. So if we could get that done, that would be a great accomplishment. So why don't we since we have just a couple minutes, why don't we open it up now for general discussion or new business?
I think Robin has a question.
Robin has something. Robin.
Next month is Foundation Month,
Okay.
so that's going to be looking for money again.
Okay.
No, we have not. I was inclined to push it, but we've kind of laid off it a bit, even on the E-rate thing. Took some counsel from Ray on how hard to push that, because we're pushing other things as well that require funding. So we're putting a lot of stress, and it's always the same old few. At least we increased our dues sufficiently to allow us to do some good out there without having to rely on the same old reliables all the time.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's one big question that Karen's going to ask. What are we going to give? So, we have to come out with a number. Every president does every year, and you had to do that. David's done it, all of you, because I think just about all of you have been presidents, or past presidents. So that's one thing, top of the list. So have to come up with some kind. We can change it, but we need some number to give them, because that's probably the if not the first, the second question they ask.
Well, we have a couple of Jim Tremmell should be able to help you with that. We have a couple of Paul Harris fellows who are good for $1,000 a year anyway.
Okay.
A few others that kick in the 100 every year. So we usually get in around 2.5 or 3 grand.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get that to give to her, because I want to give her those. Make sure she has those numbers, so we're not going to get all the comments and stuff from the DG. So that will be good. And I know Ray had a comment. Maybe Ray knows something. Ray, you said that we're not going to hear from the district governor. Is that something that you heard or something? Because I thought we would have a call with him. That he does with all the clubs, so hopefully with us particularly. So I don't know if that's something you heard or
No,
it was just a comment.
I didn't say that. I was referring to something else. I think Robin.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I think Robin might have some information, and last I heard that they were still trying to set up a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Karen is your best bet on that.
Yeah, I've reached out to her. She was waiting. I suppose she hasn't heard, because she told me she would hear. I think the backstory a little bit is that Governor Bean is a working governor, and David and I saw this in our last district with one of the governors, where they would meet different areas and all get together during the Rotary year, because so he wouldn't have to meet 47 clubs. So I think he's trying to do a little bit something similar, but on our account, it's just a Zoom meeting. So I don't know how difficult that can be, in his travels. So I will try to pin Karen down to see when that will happen, and then trying to get some really good notice. So at least we could try to get more Rotarians on that call than we get for any other meeting, because it's really embarrassing if we don't. So I will try to get a couple weeks notice on that, and Rob and I can get that out, and we can beg, borrow, and steal to try to get as many people on, because it certainly looks good when we'd have at least 12, 15 people on a Zoom call. So if that's at all possible.
Well, guys, I'm going to log off.
Okay, thanks, Peter. I know we're going to leave here in a minute, but thanks, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Robin, I think we kind of covered everything. Anything you have, or anybody have any new business, any new thoughts moving forward?
I've said it all.
I said-
This is purely Dominica at this stage.
Okay.
Another project that I'm working on up here, setting up a weekly free timed 5K in the area in conjunction with the University of Florida. And we're moving ahead in that. It'll be self-funding. I think I've got a sponsor for it. We need to come up with $5,000. I've got a sporting goods store or apparel store that's going to come up with it. We've got the course, so now we're at the stage of kind of formalizing the whole thing. And we'll have our first run up there probably the end of January. So,
No, good.
and we have the Tree of Remembrances coming up too.
Yep.
We've got our new flyer. I just completed the insurance search for it today. So that's coming down the pike as well.
Okay, well, maybe we'll get some pictures from all that. We can put a lot of that up too. That would be great. David, what about you? Thoughts, comments, suggestions? Anything from Hollywood, Florida? Is David still there?
Same conversation as before. Hollywood has their. We talking about their Hollywood Rotary Club, or just me? Just talking.
No, we're talking about you and your beautiful condo with in your office in Hollywood, Florida. Unless you moved.
No, still in the same house. Haven't moved.
Okay. So, but anything on your end, or?
I mean, Rotary stuff, generic. I'm going over to. I'll talk to a couple of clubs or one club in Germany when I go.
Okay. Hey, that would be good. Are you going on some cruises and things? Some things coming up?
No, the cruise got pulled the plug. Dominica and some of the other places shortly after the cruise got pulled. So did the islands.
Okay, so you're here for a while?
Yeah, for the next few weeks. Then we take off for Germany and then back to Medellin, Colombia.
Oh, okay. Well, spread the word. I mean, you've spread it in Spanish. You spread it in German. Let them know what we're doing over here. I think it's a great Rotary story in any language.
What about the last trip you went on? I thought, was that a fishing trip? You were going to do a program on it?
The last trip was supposed to have some fishing in it, but the fishing guide blew us off. So right now, after my stepdaughter gets the money back from the guy, we'll burn them on the fishing fellowship website.
David, give him a couple of fish pots from our club. There you go.
I don't think my members are going to be very happy about hearing the word fish pots. That's kind of a poisonous word for fishermen.
Oh, yes, that's right. Because you've been with the Hunting and Fishing Club for decades.
Well,
So-
no, it's unrelated matter. It's these are amateur guys versus commercial people, and there's some issues. And fish pots are they're not even legal in a lot of places.
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting.
Okay. Okie dokie. Ali, Ray, any last words or thoughts or anything as we approach our 8 o'clock hour?
No, have done.
No.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, let's keep on posting. Let's get on there, keep on posting, whether you're putting pictures up or commenting to the weekly meeting or Dominica or those things. I think that would be great. Let's keep it out there. And as I said, Rob and I'll meet. We'll start getting that calendar going, and I'll let you know what I hear from the district on any of the things, and also when District Governor Bean might give us his time with his district meeting. So I'll let you know when that comes up. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so I moved to close our meeting about 8:02, And David, you want to lead us tonight in the Rotary four-way test as we close?
I remember the five-way. Is it the truth?
Yep.
They're to all concerned. Will it build
Will-
and better friendships?
Friendships
Will it be
will be
beneficial?
beneficial.
All concerned?
Great.
Will it be fun?
Oh, okay, so we have five. Well, I like that. Will it be fun? Okay, it has to be fun.
It's a bit of a struggle.
I like that. I move that we make it a five-way test. Will it be fun? Okay, all in favor? Aye, aye. It's passed. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. It was a good meeting, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll see you. We'll see you online. And have a great evening, everybody. And thank you for being on tonight.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.